Part 1. The Rise of a Forgotten Empire. Chapter 1. The Land Between Rivers. History remembers kings and conquerors, but it often forgets the men and women who shaped destiny in silence. This is the story of one such forgotten empire, born in the dust of ancient lands, between rivers that carried both life and blood. In the year 612 BCE, the land of Mysoria lay between two mighty rivers, the river Elan to the east and the river Karth to the west. These rivers fed the soil, nourished crops, and served as trade routes for merchants traveling from distant civilizations. Mysoria was not yet an empire. It was a fragile alliance of city-states, each ruled by its own lord, each suspicious of the other. At the center of this land stood the city of Avaran, surrounded by thick mud brick walls and guarded by watchtowers that pierced the sky. Avaran was a city of craftsmen, scholars, and soldiers. Its markets smelled of spices, leather, and burning oil lamps. Priests walked alongside warriors, and farmers shared streets with philosophers. Among the people of Avaran lived a young man named Kaelan, the son of a blacksmith. His hands were strong from hammering iron, but his mind wandered far beyond the forge. While other boys dreamed of glory in battle, Kaelan listened to traveling storytellers who spoke of fallen kingdoms and forgotten heroes. His father, Rovan, was a quiet man who believed in discipline and hard work. Steel remembers every strike, he often told his son. So does history. Chapter 2. A Shadow over Mysoria. Peace in Mysoria was an illusion. To the north, the Varkan Empire expanded relentlessly, crushing smaller kingdoms beneath its armies. Their banners, black wolves on crimson cloth, were a symbol of fear. Entire cities surrendered without a fight. Rumors reached Avaran that Varkan scouts had been seen near the river Karth. The city councils dismissed these warnings as exaggerations, but the common people felt unease. Grain prices rose, soldiers patrolled the streets more frequently, and the temples filled with desperate prayers. One night, Kaelan overheard a secret conversation in his father's forge. Two soldiers spoke in hushed voices about a coming invasion. They mentioned a prophecy, an old legend that spoke of the Iron Flame, a leader who would unite Mysoria or see it destroyed. Kaelan did not yet know that this prophecy would soon be tied to his own fate. Chapter 3. Fire and Blood. The invasion came at dawn. Varkun war horns shattered the morning silence. Their armies crossed the river Karth under a sky darkened by smoke. Villages burned before messengers could even warn Avaran. Kaelan stood on the city walls as arrows filled the air. He had never held a sword before that day, but fear sharpened his senses. He fought not for glory but for survival. In the chaos, Kaelan witnessed something that would change his life forever. A dying commander pressed a blood-stained scroll into his hands. "Protect this," the man whispered. "Mysoria's future lies within." Before Kaelan could ask anything, the commander was gone. That night, as fires consumed the outskirts of Avaran, Kaelan opened the scroll. It contained battle strategies, alliances, and secrets of the city-states, knowledge powerful enough to unite Mysoria or destroy it. The son of a blacksmith had become the keeper of history's turning point. Chapter 4. The First Choice. As Avaran struggled to survive, Kaelan faced a terrible decision. Should he give the scroll to the divided city lords, who might misuse it for their own power? Or should he flee, gather allies, and attempt the impossible, unite Mysoria against the Varkan Empire? Standing beside the forge where he was born, Kaelan realized that history was no longer something he listened to. It was something he was about to create. Part 2. The Flames of Unity. Chapter 5. Flight from Avaran. Avaran did not fall that night, but it was no longer safe. By sunrise, the outer districts lay in ruins. Smoke drifted through the streets like mourning spirits, and the cries of the wounded echoed against shattered walls. Kalen hid the scroll beneath his cloak as soldiers searched homes, desperate to find traitors or spies. His father, Rovan, lay injured near the forge, struck by falling debris during the attack. Kalen knelt beside him. "You must leave," Rovan whispered, his voice heavy with pain. "The city will betray itself before the enemy does." Kalen wanted to protest, but he understood. Averon's leaders were already arguing among themselves. Fear had divided them more deeply than any enemy blade. Before nightfall, Kalen slipped out of the city through a hidden drainage gate. Guided by an old map his father had once forged into metal plates, he carried little: food, water, and the scroll that now felt heavier than any weapon. Behind him, Averon burned. Chapter 6: The Desert of Broken Crowns. South of Averon stretched the Desert of Broken Crowns, a wasteland named after the fallen kings who once tried to cross it. Sandstorms rose without warning, and ancient ruins lay half-buried beneath shifting dunes. For days, Kalen walked alone. Hunger weakened him, and doubt haunted his thoughts. Was he truly meant to change history, or was he merely running from fear? On the 7th night, he collapsed near the ruins of an old watchtower. There he was found by a caravan of traders led by a woman named Cerys of Talmar, a merchant, strategist, and survivor. Cerys was sharp-eyed and suspicious. She demanded to know why a lone man crossed the desert carrying sealed documents. "I carry Masoria's future," Kalen replied simply. She laughed, but there was curiosity in her eyes. Chapter 7: The First Alliance. Cerys belonged to Talmar, a wealthy city-state known for its cavalry and trade routes. Talmar had avoided war by paying tribute to the Varkun Empire, but the tribute grew heavier each year. That night, around a fire, Kalen revealed parts of the scroll's contents. He spoke of Varkun's weaknesses, secret supply lines, and rival generals plotting against one another. Cerys listened in silence. "If this is true," she said finally, "then war is inevitable, and Talmar must choose between chains and blood." She agreed to escort Kalen to Talmar, but warned him. Convincing merchants to fight is harder than defeating armies. Chapter 8: Talmar's Choice. Talmar rose from the desert like a jewel, white stone towers, wide avenues and banners fluttering in the wind. Yet beneath its beauty lay fear. The ruling council dismissed Kalen at first. They had wealth, walls, and treaties. Why risk everything for a prophecy in a scroll? Kalen spoke not as a prophet, but as a witness. He described the burning of Averon, the refugees, and the slow suffocation of freedom under Varkun rule. Then Cerys spoke. "Varkun does not want our gold," she said. "They want our obedience. And when we kneel, they will still crush us." After hours of debate, Talmar made a historic decision. They would not surrender. They would fight. Talmar became the first city to join Kalen. Chapter 9: The Iron Flame Ignites. News spread faster than armies. Other city-states listened from the shadows. Nerath, Lunar, Kel-Shaim, each with its own grudges against Varkun. Kalen was no longer a fugitive. He became a symbol. Soldiers began calling him the Iron Flame, a leader forged in fire yet unbroken. But unity came at a cost. Rivalries surfaced, egos clashed, and trust was fragile. Kalen learned that leading men was far more difficult than fighting enemies. One night, as he studied the scroll by torchlight, Cerys approached him. "You are changing history," she said quietly. "No," Kalen replied. "History is testing us." Chapter 10: The March of Shadows. The Varkun Empire noticed the rebellion. Their general, Malrek the Black Wolf, gathered an army larger than any Masoria had seen. His goal was clear: crush the rebellion before it became an empire. As Kalen's allied forces marched north, banners flying for the first time under a united command, both sides knew the coming battle would decide everything. Masoria stood at the edge of legend or extinction,